All right, so we are live, we are recording. Welcome everybody to another Sunday training. Hi, Yannick, thanks for stepping in.
Hi,
Um,
David.
welcome,
Everybody,
Tanya. Hi, welcome, Tanya as well. Andrew, Valerie, Sandra, and Yannick. Yannick. All right, I'm just gonna say Ambassador Prince from now on, right? You don't mind that, Yannick? Yannick? Yannick, can you hear me? I'm not sure. Maybe he's having technical difficulties. Yannick? All right, so I think he might be having some technical difficulties. I'm seeing Leighton on the call. Awesome. All right, so tonight we're gonna be short and quick. I want to make sure that everybody can soak it in. Um, so there is a back office training, which I'll actually post in the training group done by Candice Bird Davis. And once again, if there are any persons that have questions or concerns, they can actually post it in the training group. All right. Okay, great. So what we're going to be focusing on real quick tonight is some skills in network marketing. Um, has anybody? So I hope everybody knows how to raise their hand or put a thumbs up. Has everybody read the book The Seven Skills in Network Marketing by Eric Worre? Okay, great. No problem. What I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna, uh, well, I'm gonna try to find a link and paste it in the group as well. So as soon as we're done here, please somebody remind me to post that link in the group. It's it's actually in audio form. I have it in audio format, and it goes through and talks about the seven skills. Now, if you have a pen and notepad, can go ahead and write down the seven skills. The first one is prospecting. The second one is inviting. The third one is presenting. The fourth is following up. The fifth is closing. The sixth is getting new reps started right. And the seventh is promoting events. So it is said that we build our business from event to event. And I found that to be true. After each event with Total Life Changes, they have something called a 90-day run, which is pretty much what we're on again. And then, build to the next event. So, everybody wants to actually reach to the next event. So I'm going to touch briefly on each of them. Prospecting, is all about getting persons to, piquing interest in your business, building your list, getting to know new persons every day. It's pretty simple. So, um, uh, if I were to advertise this training session, I would say I'm going to show you a clear map of how network marketing works. The first thing you do is you prospect, build a list, meaning you're building your list, you're getting to know persons, you are qualifying and pre-qualifying persons as customers and as potential business reps, right? Building relationships. That's one. You are going to be inviting them to see your business, and that is something very important. You're going to, oh, that's Errol. Welcome, Errol. Welcome to the call.
Awesome.
All right, great. All right. So the next step is going to be, presenting. Now, some of the new persons might not be able to present. There's always a video link or there's a presentation that you can send to persons as well. The presentation can also be found on global1teamtraining.com. All right, let me just repeat that. That's global, the number one, teamtraining.com. All right, great. And it's at the bottom of the page where you have downloads. All right. Okay. So the next step. So presentation. So I was reading a book by Brian Tracy, who was saying, listen, there was this guy. They were in sales, and there was this dude that was doing 5, 10 times better than him in sales, and he decided that he wants to know what the dude is doing differently from him, and so he went to him and said, "What are you doing different? Are you willing to show me?" And the guy said, "Yes, I'm willing to show you." And so the first thing the guy asked him is, "Where's your presentation? Where's your presentation?" Because at the end of the day, if you go to board meetings and so on, there's somebody presenting some information there. It's to show the benefits of what it's doing. So the better the presentation, the higher the conversion rate of somebody joining your business, right? Um, of course, as well, the squeeze is also important in that as well. Right, conversion, right? Awesome. So, and the next step after presenting your information is to follow up. Now, it is said that the fortune is in the follow up, right? Um, and I can't overemphasize the follow up. The next phase is to close. And closing comes in many different formats. Handling the objections, doing three-way calls, re-exposing the person. It is said that a person is converted after seeing sometimes up to 6 to 12 exposures, whether it be a presentation or some testimony or something like that, right? Awesome. So after closing the person, you want to make sure that they're getting started right. So in the same book we call Going Pro: The 7 Skills in Network Marketing by Eric Worre. He explains how he was in network marketing, and there was this person who had a motivated team, had higher retention rate. By the way, this is a business that has high turnover, but the person had a higher retention and higher success in his team. He got to find out that the reason for this was because he was had a proper structured fast start training for each person. So in a fast start training, you manage expectations. You get persons to kind of have an idea of what they're going to be expecting. You inoculate them, and you give them some kind of map as to what you're going to be doing. Set goals, get them to set your priorities straight, and make commitment to a change using this vehicle, right? So that is getting your new rep started right. After that, you keep and maintain the excitement by promoting events, whether local, international, or regional, right? So it's very important to promote events. It is said that events change lives dramatically, right? When you're in the presence of all the successful company, you're seeing the bigger picture, and a person is motivated when they know that they are a part of something that is much bigger than themselves. Persons often go into depression when they are thinking about themselves, believe it or not, right? All right, so in zooming in on one of the skills, I'm going to zoom in on one of the income producing skills. Now, income producing skills are um, inviting, closing, following up. Those are what we call income producing skills. Exposing the business, inviting, presenting, closing. Those are directly related to getting some form of income stream, right? So they call them what the income producing activities. No, I'm gonna kind of focus on the follow-up. All right, so we're gonna make this a little bit lively. I'm gonna ask each person to, I'm gonna put a scenario out there. I'm gonna ask each person to kind of give their um, idea of what that would be like. So I'm gonna start with, let me see. Andrew, do you have good audio today? Andrew. All right, Andrew is not hearing me. Let's move on to somebody else. I see Yannick. Yannick trying to hide. Yannick, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, crystal clear. Now I had some issues before.
Oh no, not Yannick, but Yannick this time.
Oh, my bad.
This time. Yannick.
Yes, David, I hear you.
Okay, great. How do you go about following up?
Generally, I don't think right now I have a proper structure,
Okay.
but I know some of the key things that are important are to make sure that, okay, if you've probably exposed the person to the business, at least give them, say, for example, one scenario is if you have given them some amount of exposure to your business, send them a video. I mean, immediately after you send them the video, say, for example, it's supposed to last 15 minutes. Probably give them an extra 5 minutes or 10, just in event something happen. And then you'll probably call them and find out what they liked, what they didn't like, whatever the case may be, what their particular interests were. If it's probably say somebody who I had probably touched base with online, what I may do is depending on their time frame, we may discuss a particular time that we could connect because it may not be around the same time interval, but we usually try to work out some particular structured time frame. So you have to set a timeline with the follow up.
Okay. All right. So you've just presented to somebody or have somebody on a presentation call tonight. How do you go about following up with them right after the call? Which is important. We follow up right after the call, by the way, or presentation. How would you follow up right after the presentation?
All right. So, say for example, the person is you. I'd be like, "Hi, David. What's up? What did you like about the call? Were you as excited as I am? Tell me what you liked." And if they come back and say, "Boy, I like the tea. I like the energy." Whatever the product is, definitely tell them, "Oh, yeah, man, I like that too. Love it. In fact." And you can share your experience about it because it's always good to agree with whatever they like. Um, then also would move into the fact of trying to understand whether they want to be potential customers or if they want to be more interested in the business. And also, I guess, in having the initial conversation with the person about getting to understand where their interest lies, because some people are more business driven, some of them are just not interested. But still, if you feel them out, you can touch base with your upline and get them to log on to possibly a three-way call as well.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Not bad. Next person, real quick. Two more persons. How about, well, Errol? Errol, are you there? Or Eric? Sorry. Okay. Three, two, one. Okay. Eric is not there. Tanya, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome. How do you follow up with your prospects right after the presentation?
I normally just call, really. That's about it.
Just call them?
Yeah.
Okay, what you said to them?
Basically similar to what the young lady just said. I just asked, you know, if if they're excited in
Okay.
being a part of the business or using the products, and I tend to give free products, so that's about it for me right there.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. One more real quick. I see Cami on the line. Cami Valentine. Cami, can you hear me? Three, two, one, go. All right. All right. One more. Let me see. Valerie, how would you follow up after a call or presentation?
So when I send either pictures or videos of the overview of the business, I let them know that I'm going to be contacting them that night to see what they thought, if they have any questions. I'm always enthusiastic and proud about the business, so they can see over the phone. And I actually just did a FaceTime with one of the girls that wanted to get more information. I was like, hey, so what do you think? And I'm like showing how happy and proud I am, like introducing her to the business. And then she tells me, oh, well, you know what, like I have doubts or whatnot. I was like, well, tell me what's your doubts? And I answered all the questions, and I sent her the sheets with the ingredients, what they can do for benefits for your body. And they're just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you. She's like, okay, so would you be interested in joining the business? Did you see the compensation plan? Did you see how amazing this is? And she's like, oh my gosh, that was incredible. So I got another yes for this week.
Awesome. Great stuff. Great stuff. All right. So thank you very much, everybody that participated. We're going to do a quick clip of that same book to kind of get you excited. And then afterwards, I'm going to be selling you all. So I'm going to be closing. I'm going to be selling you copies. I'm just kidding. But all right. So I'm going to be playing a short clip on the follow-up. And I think he makes it very, very, really simple to follow. All right, guys. All right. And then we're going to have the next person. Come on. All right. So let's go. Can everybody hear the audio? Just give me a thumbs up if you're here. Okay, great.
There's something about the do-or-die attitude. It's almost like when someone has a do-or-die attitude, time, fate, and circumstances seem to...
Then the next, and the next, who get all excited 1 minute.
...are changing. And if your neighbor tells you, come on, choose another mountain, that one's too rocky, what are you going to tell them? And if someone tells you, let's go over here where it's not so steep, what are you going to tell them? And if someone says network marketing, what are you going to tell them?
I'm going to the book.
And if your friend tells you, come on, let's climb this one, that one's too slippery, what are you going to tell them? If anyone tells you you can't go up, it's too...
Chapter 7. Chapter 7. Skill number 4. Following up with your prospects. In MLM, they say the fortune is in the follow-up. I think that's true, because most people in MLM don't follow up at all, at least not as professionals. You need to understand some important concepts if you're going to master this skill. Concept number 1. Follow-up is doing what you said you'd do. If you say you're going to call at a specific time, then do it. The network marketing profession is full of people who get all excited 1 minute and then go missing in action the next. Run your business through a physical or electronic calendar. Be the person who does what they say they're going to do. People will respect that. I sold real estate the year before I got involved in network marketing. My father and his partner owned the company. One day I was in the office and a gentleman by the name of Chuck Aycock showed up for a 10 a.m. meeting with my dad. It was 9:55 a.m. and my dad wasn't in the office yet. I greeted Chuck and told him I was sure my dad would arrive soon. At 10 a.m. exactly, Chuck got up and said, "It's 10 o'clock. Your dad isn't here. Have him call me if he wants to reschedule the meeting." I couldn't believe it. He came all the way to the office just to leave 30 seconds after the appointment? I told him, "Mr. Aycock, I'm sure he'll be here any minute. There's no need to leave." And then he told me something I never forgot. He said, "Son, you are either early or you are late. He's late, and my time is valuable. Have him give me a call if he'd like to reschedule." And he left. My dad showed up at 10:10 a.m. expecting to meet Chuck. I told him what happened, and he was as stunned as I was. My dad wasn't habitually late or anything. That particular morning, he was just a little casual with his time. He rescheduled the appointment, and I noticed over the years that my dad was always early for his appointments with Mr. Aycock. What's the lesson in this story? For me, the lesson was that people respect a person who does what they say they're going to do. People also respect a person who values their own time. If you say you're going to follow up at a specific time or in a specific way, either do it or reschedule well ahead of your appointment. Concept number 2. The only reason to have an exposure is to set up the next exposure. When I got started, I would conclude every exposure by saying, "What do you think?" No one told me that was one of the worst things to do. It felt like a natural thing to say, but my results were terrible. I asked one of my early mentors for help, and he said, "Eric, the only reason to have an exposure is to set up the next exposure." That blew my mind. I thought the reason to have the exposure was to get the person signed up. He went on to explain that if you finish each exposure by setting up the next one, the prospect will eventually become educated on the opportunity and make an informed decision. The goal in my mind changed from getting the prospect on the first exposure to just keeping the process alive by setting up the next follow-up exposure, then the next, and the next until they made a decision. When I made this small improvement, my results improved dramatically. We talked earlier about how to professionally invite your prospect to take a look at what you have to offer. At the end of that process, we went through several steps to set up the next exposure, meaning your follow-up call. That was your next appointment. When you make that call, you're going to ask them if they reviewed the material. They'll say, "No, I didn't," or they'll say, "Yes, I did." Let's talk about how you'll set up the next exposure in both cases. If they say no, they didn't have a chance to review the material, it's important you don't show your displeasure at their lack of follow-up. It sounds funny, but a lot of people just jump on their prospects with, "I thought you said you'd be able to see it for sure." Obviously, this won't help build that good relationship you're working on. The best way to respond is, "That's okay, I understand sometimes life gets busy. When do you think you could do it for sure, for sure?" You might say, for sure is a little much, but I've used that for decades in this follow-up situation, and I do it because it works. In any case, use whatever language you'd like to use to set up the next time and walk through the same steps to get the commitment. Once you have it, including the date and the time of the next call, the next exposure, then hang up and call them when you said you would. If you call them at the scheduled time and they still haven't reviewed the material, just repeat the process until they do. Remember, they are setting up the appointment, and you are being the professional by following up like you said you would. If you call the prospect and they say yes, they've reviewed the material, you're going to ask them a few intelligent questions. First, you're not going to ask, "What do you think?" This just invites the critical part of the prospect's mind to come up with objections to try to sound smart. The best follow-up question I've ever used is, "What did you like best?" This question will take you in a very positive direction and will give you clues as to the level of their interest. If they say the product, then your next exposure will probably be product related. If they say financial freedom, then your next exposure will probably be opportunity related. Another great question to ask is, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being zero interest and 10 being ready to get started right away, where are you right now? With this question, anything over 1 is good. It says they have some interest. Most of the time you'll get something like a 5 or a 6. No matter what number they give you, all you're going to do is ask them how you can help them get to a higher number. Usually that answer will go along the lines of how they answered, "What did you like best?" If the
Okay. All right. So it goes on and on. So I hope everybody got some value out of the idea of it. Right? So the only reason of setting up an appointment is set up the next appointment. That's all following up is. As you were saying, in some cases 2 to 8 to 12 exposures before some person say yes. So they are setting their appointments. All right. So remember, please remind me to put that link in the group so that I can so persons can actually listen to that audiobook. It's very, very powerful. Makes it all so simple. All right. So the next step we're gonna have really quick is Sandra. Sandra, are you there?
I am here.
Okay. Are you ready to give us the power packed 5 minutes? Go ahead.
Okay, so you had asked me, what are we doing here in Canada?
Right.
To give us our success. Like, what are we doing so far? Anyways, right?
Right.
And so basically, I'll speak about myself, and I think most of the people that I have in the team so far are doing basically the same thing I am. From what I can tell, they're duplicating it. So basically, we all started with doing weigh-ins on Facebook, and each day tracking our weight, talking about the tea. We're also, the other things that we're doing is we're posting before and after testimonial pictures that we've gotten off of the different websites that are available to us. And we're also sharing each other's stories. So when Val does her weigh-in, I will share it on my Facebook wall as well. And I'll say another teammate having success. Personally, I have not promoted the business, making money, anything like that on my Facebook page whatsoever, because I think that I think it's too blitzy. I think it personally. Canadians are a little more standoffish and they don't like to be pitched at all. But if you're sharing your story, stories sell, right? Facts tell. Mm-hmm. So if you're sharing your story, they don't feel like that they're being pitched to. They're just sharing your story.
Right.
Same as I shared, what I did on the weekend. It's the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't talk about that. I don't do it till later on because once I know that something's piqued their interest. The other thing that personally I'm doing is, and I've always done it and I'm continuing to do it, is to post positive quotes and things like that on my Facebook wall, because that also builds up a relationship. People get to see who I am, what I stand for, what my character's like, all that kind of thing, especially as I'm bringing new people onto my Facebook that have approached me or found me through their other friends. Then they're coming on my Facebook wall, and then I notice that all these new people on my Facebook wall are now commenting on different quotes and stuff that I post. So that's a good thing. I also post anything positive that's going on. So, I spent the night at my sister's and we were on the lake, so different things like that. And so that gets them saying that I'm relatable too. I'm the same as they are. I'm not anything special. You know what I mean? Because the person has to be able to identify with you. If you're flashing a lifestyle that is beyond most people's comprehension, you're not relatable to most people. And even though they want to be you, they don't think they can be you because they think they are where they are, right? So I'm always keeping that in mind, not saying that I have a flashy lifestyle at all, because I don't. The other thing is, so just from doing that piece right there, personally, I get a minimum of 3 inquiries every single day, minimum, of what is this tea? What are you doing? Can you give me some more information? And some days it's been like 10 inquiries about it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. A lovely insane.
Of course.
Was that?
Said, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The other thing I'm doing is I'm making an extra conscious effort. Usually I do it in the morning and the evening before I go to bed. So first thing when I wake up, or not necessarily after, as soon as I wake up, I try to do my reading then, but then I'm on Facebook and I'm going through the news feed and I'm actually liking and commenting things that I like from other friends and people that I want to build extra close relationships with, so that it builds that connection and that bond, and they kind of pay more attention to me as well. So now they're starting to be the ones to actually now ask me questions. What else? Oh yeah, the other thing, actually Val and I both did it, and that is we have Facebook buy and sell sites here. I don't know if you have them in Jamaica. And so there's our local buy and sell sites, and we probably have, for where I am, there's probably like 4 right around me kind of thing. And so I posted it on there. And so I've gotten some feedback from those as well. The other thing is, I would suggest, if you have any of those Facebook groups around you, of maybe weight loss groups, that you can join weight loss groups. And at first, don't talk about your product. Just start to build relationships with people. Because I'm in a group that I purchased a product. It was a DVD product, and I was put into the group, or I think I was added to the group automatically. But just 2 days ago, I commended somebody for their before and after picture, and I said, "Good luck, girl." I said something about I've added in this detoxifying tea, and it's really helped me along with doing the DVD. So it was just a comment like that. And then all of a sudden, I literally got 10 people asking me, "Well, what's this detox tea? Can you tell me about it?" So then I add them on Facebook, I messenger them, and use their name. "Hi, Suzanne. It was really, thank you for asking me about the detox tea. Here's the information for you." So once I connect with them, I found I was doing way too much typing, and I have thick thumbs and long fingernails.
Right.
So I actually, on my phone, in my message, or in my memos, I think it's notes or notepad in my phone, I actually have a pre-existing memo that says, "Hi, and thanks for asking me about the detox tea. Here's a short little video for you to watch. If you have any questions, please ask." And then it has my favorite video, and it's the one that explains the tea, and it's by Jun Lee. That's my favorite video. So I send them that. So I just open my notes, copy, go into Facebook Messenger, paste. And then I have another one in there that says, "And here's my website. If you'd like to look at the other products and the prices, please keep in mind they're in US dollars." And then a link to my website. And I do copy and paste with that. So it shortens it. And I can answer 10 messages,
Awesome.
20
Awesome.
messages in a day. So it also makes it systematized. Okay. And it makes it easier for you because you don't have to rethink every single time. You're consistent. And if you do that with your people, they'll mimic what you do, right? And they'll duplicate it.
And it's very duplicatable as well, if you can even copy the scripts and send it to them as well. Awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I ask, because a lot of them are strangers, within no longer, and you're not presenting to them, right? You're just sending them links, no longer than 24 hours. And I will be messaging them, say, "Hey, Suzanne, how did you make out? Do you have any questions?" And some people, if I have not built that relationship with them yet, they won't even answer me. And most do answer me, or they'll ask me specific questions. How long does it take for shipping, or blah, blah, whatever. And I answer those. If I have not built the connection with them yet, that's why before I even message them, I add them as a friend on Facebook, because now they're getting to see my news feed. They're getting to see who I am. So I make sure I go back to so I have a little book of everybody who messaged me, and I write down what in my little book, who it was, and the date that they messaged me, the date that I sent them info, because there was one day I think I had 15 messages, and I couldn't keep track. So I needed a little book to help me keep track. And so I'll purposely, if they don't answer me, I'll purposely go to their Facebook wall, and I'll look on their newsfeed, and anything I really like, I will go in and I will like, and then I'll comment, so it brings attention to me. And after doing that a few times, I find that now people are replying to me, the ones that weren't replying before. So basically that's it. To be very honest, I understand, all the steps, and I've done it before and all that, but to be very honest, I don't think I pitched. I think I might have so-called pitched 2 or 3 people, and that's it. And that was to get them on the Zoom call that Pam did for us the other night.
Awesome. Great stuff.
That's it.
Awesome. So lifestyle. So basically simple, relatable, duplicatable.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sandra. I'm sure
You're-
there was a lot of value. Probably
You're welcome.
about $1,000.
I hope. I hope.
And many more after that if you would keep using it and duplicating it, because this is what we do is about duplication and empowering others. So if we try to do it all ourselves, it's like a regular job. Right? Awesome. All right,
It'll take too much time.
Exactly. All right. Thank you very much again,
You're
Sandra.
welcome.
Yannick, are you on the line? Yannick, Mr. Prince, Ambassador Prince. Let me see. I hope he's okay now. Let me unmute.
What's up?
Okay, great. Yeah, man.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Alright.
Yes, we can.
Cool. I was here listening to Sandra and I said, wow, attraction marketing as well.
Definitely.
Awesome. All right. So following up. So for those who are new, any new people here, David? Tanya.
Right, Tanya.
Kami.
Liz Sweeney.
Liz. All right. Andrew is a regular. Errol regular.
Kami Valentine. I don't think he was here last week. But
okay. So just to run through, Sandra has a lot of experience in network marketing face-to-face, right? I, on the other hand, have more experience online, right? So her approach may be slightly different from mine, and some things may intertwine, right? So in what David is saying, the 7 steps, I also use the 7 steps. However, it is slightly different because I'm doing it online.
Okay.
Right? So I did 2 before, right? The same 7 steps. Well, my version of the 7 steps, I did 2 before. So the first one was making the list, in which we went through, right? Oh, and on that note, did everyone do the assignment from last week?
Of course.
2 thumbs up, Andrew. Anything, Andrew? All right, thumbs up, Andrew. I didn't think Yannick was there last week. All right, for those who are there, I don't have much time. The assignment was to write, make a list of 500 people, right? And from that 500, you're gonna mark the influencers, mark the business owners, the people, the highest prospects, and you contact them first. So that was the assignment from last week. All right, but for today, I'm making it really short. I'm just gonna talk about how to connect with people you know and people you don't know. Sandra touched on it a bit. The easiest way to connect with people you know, right, is just to find them on Facebook, send them a friend request. Hey, how you doing? It's been a while since I've spoken to you. I see that you're here on Facebook. Let's connect. Something like that. Like Sandra said, I also have a screen. Let me share my screen just a sec. Let me know when you see my screen. Can you see it? All right, cool. So this is my sticky notes, right? All right. Can you see it, guys? All right. No. All right. So there is people you know. Can you see that? Awesome. These people you don't know. This is for the birthday. This is roughly for texting a friend. And it is not really verbatim. It just gives an idea. It just gives an idea. Accepting a new friend. This is when you check notifications. This is Facebook friends you know that post, which is similar to what Sandra did. Friends you don't know and you want to know them. So what I'll do, I'll probably just drop a copy of this in the group, just as a guide, right?
Okay, great.
All right, cool. So quickly, you want to know someone, right? You look on the page is positive. Send them a friend request and send them a message at the same time, and ensure that you like a few things on their page. Once you do that, you send them a message. Hey, I came across a page by accident or by coincidence, right? And I just had to like a few of your posts. I think you have a great page. Let's connect on here. Or something like that. Something very simple. 9 out of 10 times I accept your friend request. Because everybody likes somebody who likes them. Pretty much. And that's for people you don't know. For people you already know, simple. Send a little message, send a friend request. That's it. When you send a friend request though, if the person doesn't respond within a week or two, just cancel friend request because that's a clear indication they're not open to socialize with you. All right. So pretty much that's my 5 minutes. Any questions? No.
No, not at the moment. Okay.
All right. So I'll just drop this. I think I'll drop it in the WhatsApp.
All right. Very, very, very powerful. I mean, very, very powerful. Just like the comment that you listen, social media is probably one of the most powerful things in network marketing right now.
It is.
And we need to use it to our advantage. In closing, I'll just go ahead and say what we're doing here for the rest of the persons listening on the line. It's not for you just to know, but we're strongly passionate about persons taking action because it's in taking action with enthusiasm, as Valerie said earlier, with a positive mindset that we will create massive impact. And we want to constantly do this. Our mission is to build something like this, which is much bigger than ourselves. It's worldwide, it's global, and we have an awesome opportunity. So let's continue to work together, continue to build together, right? As we take over the world, right? I like and Sandra, I know you, right? So let's take over the world. All right, guys. Remember, we can continue with our questions in the group. For persons that are not in the training group, please send me a personal message and I'll add you as well. God bless. Have a great night. Have a great week. All right. Remember, nothing is impossible. This is the only business where we can help a ton of people while making a lot of money, while having a ton of fun. It just makes sense. Have a great night.